Daisies are your classic flower. They're always very reminiscent. They have lots of memories associated with them from sort of playing at school, picking daisies, making daisy chains, lamb's tails or caterpillars, threading them together. And if you're drawing a flower, they're kind of the classic flower that you draw. Okay. Once we've picked our daisies, and I've got a nice basket full of daisies here, what we're going to do is just put them into a jar. It's just a normal jar here, and you want to kind of fill the jar. You don't want to press them down too much. You want a nice jar of daisies there, and then you're just going to top that up with normal vegetable oil. So you're just going to top that up till that's covered. Just covered your daisies. You can fill your jar a little bit more if you want to. And then we're just going to leave that somewhere warm to infuse. Okay, so we want that warm. You can give it a little shake every few days, but that wants to be on a sunny windowsill or in your greenhouse, and you're going to leave that for 3 weeks until the oil's kind of infused with the goodness of the daisies. Okay, so a fact that we all know about daisies is that when the sun's out, the daisies come out, and that's what daisy means, day's eye. But then at night time they close in again when there's no light on them. The petals curl around that sort of centre point. But the old name for a daisy was bruisewort, and this is what we're going to make. So it's a bit like you often buy arnica gels for bruising, and we're going to make our own bruise soothing lotion out of daisies. Okay, so we're going to put those somewhere warm, and then we'll come back to making the actual lotion. Our jar of daisies that have been infusing in our vegetable oil or sunflower oil, either's fine. It's been there for 3 weeks, been somewhere warm, so all the goodness of the daisies will have come out into the oil. Every part of the daisy is edible. Often they're good in salads, so you can get the leaves, you can add those to your salads. You can add the flower heads as well, it always looks pretty. You can put them on cakes as well, things like that. But every part's edible, so it's fine. Not that we're making something that we're going to eat. Okay. Other equipment that you'll need, we're going to need to strain the flowers out of the oil. So the easiest way to do it is just with a sieve. If you do it straight into a measuring jug, it means you can measure how much oil you've got, because then we've got to get the proportions right between our oil and our other main ingredient is the beeswax. Okay, beeswax, you can buy it online, or if you've got a friendly beekeeper, you can get some beeswax off there, but you just need beeswax. We're then going to melt and the beeswax, mix it with the oil in a hot water bath. So you'll need a saucepan and a bowl, and we'll fill this up with boiling water, and this will melt the beeswax, and then we can add the oil to that. Then you'll need some sort of container to put it in. You can have tin, so this one I think I had some soap in when I first bought it, or you can buy them online. If you're going to be making loads of these, you can get a selection of tin sizes. A jar is fine, so it's the sort of one that you end up with your little portions of jam in, or any jar you've got is perfectly good, or you can put it into an ice cube tray and you can freeze it and store it that way. So our first step now in making our balm is we're going to sieve the daisies out of our oil. So, and we're going to want to get as much of the goodness, or much of the oil out of those daisies as possible. So you can just leave it for a while and it'll drip through and gain a bit more. You can leave that up there and that'll do a bit more, or you can pick it with the back of a spoon as well. It's quite a good way. Or if you haven't got a sieve and you've just sort of done it through a tea towel or something like that, you can give it a really good wring out. But pushing it through with a spoon also works fine. Okay. So when you're happy that you've got enough of your oil out, this can then just go in your compost. Okay, and I've done it straight into the measuring jug. so that we can get our proportions right. So we can see how much we've got in there, and it is probably about 75 millilitres, and we want 4 times as much oil to beeswax. Okay, so I've weighed this lump of beeswax and it's 20 grams, so it's kind of about right. We'll go with that. What I might do though is just cut a little bit off. Because you can adjust your proportions as you need to. So once we've melted the beeswax and we've incorporated the oil, if it seems a bit runny, we can add a bit more wax. If it seems a bit too solid, we can add a bit more oil. Okay, so we've got a bit of spare there. Okay, so I've got some boiling water in the pan, and I'm just going to put my little bowl in there and then add the beeswax. And we just want it to melt. So already you can see that is beginning to melt. Once your wax is melted, you can add your oil. And we can just let that blend together. We're just, do that, just blending the two together there. Okay, once it's blended, you then want to just sort of test for set. So I said about the proportions, and it doesn't need to be overly precise. But if you've got, same as you do with jam, if you've put a plate in the fridge, you can then test your oil and beeswax mixture. And as it cools, it will begin to set. You can see it's already sort of set on the teaspoon. But yeah, that's already set. And what you're aiming for is something that you're willing to rub on your skin. Okay, so we're not ingesting this. We're going to rub it on our skin. So you can just use it as a moisturiser, but with the properties in daisies, I remember the old name for daisies was bruisewort. It's really good on bruises. Okay, so that seems a good consistency. So all we need to do now is check that it's still all melted, and then you can pour it into your chosen containers. So I am going to freeze some, just because I think if we're using it on bruises, it'll be really nice if you get out a cold lump of it and rub that on the bruise, so you've got the icing going on as well. Okay. So be a little bit careful with the pouring, and that you don't, I'm going to do it over a pot there, so any excess will go in there. Okay, so I've got a little jar of it there, and I'm going to put some into my ice cube tray as well. Okay, so this can be stored in the freezer. Do label it. You obviously don't want to put this into your drinks, that won't be quite so nice. But already you can see it beginning to solidify. And that'll just take a little bit longer, and then you should end up with something of this sort of consistency. So that works really well. It's a nice moisturiser.